Hey everyone, good evening. Welcome to the Truck Insurance Channel. My name is Nick, and we are going to be live this evening for the next 30 minutes to answer any questions, talk about our monthly giveaways. We will be announcing the winner for the month of July. Hope everybody is having a great evening. What we'll do is we're going to wait for a few people to join in here and go over any questions they may have, and then we will kind of go from there. But I did want to come in tonight and just talk about a conversation I had with somebody over the past week. There are a lot of different concerns when getting into the industry, from renting vehicles, owning vehicles, and so much more. And so we are here to do consultations. We're here to do these lives, and we want to answer your guys' questions, make sure that you have a better understanding of what you're getting into when getting into the industry and how to do it the right way. If you're new to the channel, check out our videos. You'll find several links in the description below to different services and scheduling consultations and such. And we've got a video on just about everything. If there's a specific topic that you want us to cover in a video, feel free to drop a comment in any of our videos. We do monitor and respond to those comments as much as possible and as quickly as possible as well. So happy to do any additional content based on any recommendations or things you guys may want to see. But we got a couple people jumping in here, so we'll wait for some questions to start rolling in, and we'll start answering these questions, guys. Hope everybody is having a great evening. Hey, this is Trucking Life. Welcome. Appreciate you being here this evening. How's it going? How is everybody on this fine Tuesday? And guys, I'm curious, we had a post on the YouTube channel that was kind of like a poll, and just wanted to ask you guys. So in the poll, I asked a couple questions in regards to why haven't you got into the trucking business, and what your biggest fear is in getting into that business. So Toe Piglet asked, we have a first question here, kind of unrelated to insurance, but a question. So who is Charles String? Why that name? There's a long backstory behind that. Charles String is not a person, at least not related to this company. That is just the company name. So the owner of the agency is Daniel, who you guys probably see in a lot of the content and a lot of the videos that are you guys have probably watched in the past. And so, Charles String is not a person, just the business name. There's a really funny backstory back when Daniel was, I believe, in high school, I think it was. So maybe he'll be able to come on and actually tell you guys that story. But yeah, that's the brief answer to why that name and who that is. But yeah, hopefully we can cover that one day. It's a pretty funny story. How is everybody doing this evening? Just wanted to say hi, answered my questions last time. Appreciate you dropping in. If we can answer any more questions, of course, feel free to drop those below, guys. And again, I hope everybody's doing great this evening. For our giveaway, guys. So July's winner, of course, we will be reaching out to this winner, but Celera Logistics is the winner this month of our free Garmin giveaway. So congratulations, Celera Logistics. Apologies for butchering that name. But congratulations, you have won the Garmin. I will shoot you an email here either this evening or possibly tomorrow to just confirm mailing, and we will get that sent to you. Everybody thinks that it's the owner's name. I can't tell you how many times we get emails and it's like, hey, Charles, how are you doing? And then I'll respond to it and my email signature says Nick. And then they still will email me back and be like, thanks, Charles. And I'm like, yeah, Charles isn't a person. But we probably have that conversation, several times a day, I would say, about the Charles thing. It honestly, it creates a good conversation. So I think that it's a good thing. But yeah, that is definitely not the owner's name. Toe Piglet asked a question here, guys. So let's go over this. Is it a good idea for a motor carrier to get their P&C insurance license to save themselves money by selling themselves their policy? The short answer there is going to be no. The reason why is because there are a lot of other fees associated with getting yourself getting your license, that's not that hard. That's pretty cheap. You can do that fairly cheap. But to open an agency, to get appointed with different carriers, and be able to run your agency, like, from the licensing, renewals, and things like that, it's going to cost you more than you make, unless you are planning on growing your company to a massive size. And when I say massive size, I mean, I would say if you're going to grow your company to over 20 or 30 trucks, then it might be worth it. You might make a little bit of money on that. But again, when it's not as easy as just going to get your PNC license and then starting to sell insurance, you have to have experience in the industry before you can go get appointed with a carrier to be able to work with that carrier and sell yourself that insurance. So yeah, that's just something to consider there, but I personally wouldn't recommend it. So This Trucking Life asked, new authority here, been doing power only with trailer interchange. If I add my own trailer, what is the ballpark amount I should expect? It'll definitely be less than the trailer interchange, assuming you do auto liability only. When it comes to trailers are very cheap, guys, for auto liability, that is. If you need physical damage coverage, which is your comp and collision, say you have a $60,000 trailer, $60,000 trailer interchange, you're probably going to see about the same cost there. If you have a trailer that's paid off and you don't need comp and collision or don't care to have the comp and collision and there's no lien or no lien holder against it, then in that scenario, you could definitely save yourself that money by adding that on. Usually trailers, it's dependent on your premium, but I would say on average, I see them usually between $400 and $600 a year for auto liability. We have a question here from Carl Robinson. Carl asks, is adding UIIA to insurance more? And if so, by how much? So Carl, there are a lot of factors when determining what your insurance rate is. In most cases, UIIA coverage is more expensive, but it's not as simple as just adding UIIA coverage. You have to have a UIIA compliant policy. And let's just say, for example, you're insured with Progressive. Progressive will not cover UIIA. So it's not as simple as doing an endorsement to add the coverage. You actually would have to start a new policy. So you would have to go with a different company like outside of Progressive because they simply don't offer the coverage for UIIA. As far as to tell you how much more it costs, I mean, it's so tough to estimate because, I see quotes between, 15 grand a year, and I've seen quotes upwards of, $100,000 a year. It's actually pretty crazy. You've got one major factor that's the most important is going to be your credit score. And that is the credit score of the business owner. This is not the credit score of the business itself. It's personal credit score. And remember that not only is your credit score important, but your credit history is important. You can have a 700 credit score, but a year ago have filed bankruptcy because you used some credit repair service. And so now the score looks good, but the history looks like crap. And so, you're still going to end up paying more for insurance. So it's really tough to estimate, but I mean, if you're paying 15 grand a year for your current policy, you want to go UIIA, you might pay 20 grand a year. So, you might see a 25% increase, 20 to 25%. But again, that could totally be, different based on those factors between credit, driving record, experience, et cetera. So yeah, I'd really have to do a quote to truly give you the correct numbers and estimates there. But yeah, I would say, at a minimum, probably 20% more. Toe Piglet asked, what is UIIA? So UIIA is intermodal hauling. So it's picking up from the ports. It is picking up from rail yards and such. So it's just containerized freight through cargo containers. Jack Rich, he had a question. Is cooking your DOT numbers illegal? No, it's not. There's no rule against it. It's not against insurance regulation. The FMCSA doesn't have any regulations against it. It's totally fine to do. Not a problem at all. And if you need more info on how to do it, you can either check out our video, or if you go to the description below, you'll see where you can schedule a consultation. And I am happy to go over with you one-on-one the process of getting that DOT number cooked. Unless anybody else is also curious about cooking the DOT number, I'd be happy to answer that here in the live. You guys just let me know. But back to Toe Piglet. Yep. So intermodal hauling, containerized freight. UIIA is something that is getting there's a lot of buzz around it right now. and it's a lot of people are getting more and more into it. If you want to discuss it in detail, let's hop on a call together and we'll go over it together. We have another question from Carl here. Carl said, I'm up for renewal, so plan on adding UIIA. I was with Progressive last year, filled out a quote for you guys and never heard back. What should I do? Or should I do another one? Carl, let's actually address this real quick. If you don't mind, what's your business name? I'm going to take a look, see if I can find that quote form. And also, I just would like to know business name and what state are you in? Jack said, I was just filling out a quote through you guys. Thank you. That sounds great, Jack. So the way that our quoting process works, you fill that form out. Once you submit our quote form, it's going to come directly over to us. We will make sure we get that quoted for you. Most quotes outside of UIIA will come back within 24 to 48 hours. Usual turnaround time is about 24 hours. On the UIIA stuff, quotes are, UIIA has a lot more underwriting involved when writing the policy. So UIIA quotes typically take anywhere between 3 to 5 business days to come back. Sometimes it is quicker. They'll send us like an indication. And then if that indication is something that you're interested in, we can go through additional underwriting to get a finalized quote, financing, all that good stuff. Okay, so Carl said, so your business is a Big Trust Logistics LLC and out of Maryland. Give me just a second, guys, real quick. I'm just going to search this one for him. Carl, when did you fill the form out? Let's see. I do see where, okay, so your scenario was a little bit different. Okay, so here's what happened in this scenario. I'll go ahead and explain. So if you guys have joined other lives or watched some of our other videos, we do partner with a company called Tailored Insurance Group to help clients in a scenario where we can't. So like if there's a state that we're not licensed in, if there's a market that's not available to us for a specific type of trucking that you're trying to do, we will refer you to our partner company, Tailored Insurance Group. And your quote specifically, you were looking for UIIA, and our current market that we are using for UIIA quotes is not available in Maryland. So we actually referred that over to our partner. It looks like this was actually about a month ago. And if you had not heard from Tailored Insurance Group, or if that rings a bell, please drop a comment. If you have talked to them, maybe you weren't aware that that's one of our partners. I can definitely reach out to them for you, though, if you haven't heard from them, because that's not normal. I mean, usually their turnaround time is within, same thing like us, UIA quotes 3 to 5 days, and you should have it in your inbox. So just let me know if you have or haven't. Okay, so you haven't heard from them about that. So I will actually take care of that. We're Eastern Standard Time. Anybody who's in the live, we're Eastern Standard Time. We're based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And so right now, obviously we do these lives outside of regular business hours. So if you will give me till the morning, I will get a hold of somebody at their office in the morning, and I will make sure that they reach out to you tomorrow. I do apologize for that. That is not something that normally happens. But yes, we'll make sure we get that squared away. And then Carl, back to your scenario on the renewal, as far as adding the UIA, it's what they're going to do is they're going to quote you a full policy with that endorsement included. So that way you'll be able to work for UIA as well as you'll be able to do other things like general freight. So guys, what I want to make clear on UIA, a lot of people think you can only run UIA, but that's actually not the case. You can still do other operations. You don't have to do UIA 100% of the time. So that's just something I wanted to mention there, because I do get that question on my one-on-one consultations pretty often. So it doesn't mean that you can only do UIA. And then guys, while we're on the topic of UIA, I want to talk about where do you find UIA loads. If you were to go through UIA directly, like through their website, and look at where they recommend people find loads, there are 3 load boards that you're going to want to look at. You're going to want to look at Amazon Relay, or the Relay load board, I should say. You're going to want to look at DAT, and then you're going to want to look at Truckstop. If you guys need any help with any of those, you are welcome to schedule a consultation. I'll go over those load boards with you. If you need any links to any of it, of course, feel free to reach out. As far as Relay goes, you need to apply and get approved for that. And then Truck Stop and DAT simply just sign up for the load boards through a subscription. Do we have any more questions around UIIA, what it is, how it works, what you can and can't do, quotes, numbers, anything like that? While we're on the topic. Thank you guys for asking questions regarding UIIA, though. That's something that's not talked about enough. So I appreciate you guys being curious about it and looking into getting into it, because there's definitely money to be made. All right, guys. Any more questions, concerns? We're a little over halfway through the live here. We've got about another 13, 14 minutes left here tonight. I know this has gone kind of quick. We've probably covered quite a bit here in just for this first half. But while we've got these last, 13, 14 minutes, I want to make sure we get any questions answered. And guys, if you want to have an extensive conversation around not really, I wouldn't say mentoring. We don't offer like a mentorship program, but you guys, you can schedule as many consultations as you want. You can schedule calls about, how do I want to grow my business? How should I go about growing my business? When is the best time to try to grow my business? Like whatever it may be, whether it's adding trucks, adding drivers, applying for different brokers, carrier packets, whatever you guys need. We're happy to answer those, and those consultation calls are there for those types of longer, drawn-out questions where we might have to go into much more detail about what you're trying to do. So schedule those consultations, fill that calendar up as quickly as possible. The calendar does get booked pretty quick, so definitely make sure you don't miss your spot, and let's have those one-on-one conversations so that way you guys have the questions answered that you need. And again, all of our consultations are free. So like we don't charge for any of our services, guys. Like we don't charge for anything. I mean, the insurance is what the insurance costs, and that's that. But I mean, aside from that, like we don't actually charge any type of fees for any consultations, reviews, help with anything or any just questions you have. And so take advantage of that, guys. I mean, definitely take advantage of it. There are a lot of channels out there, a lot of people out there that charge fees for this, fees for that, and we want to try to make our services free. So I hope that you guys will utilize them. Schedule those calls, book those consultations, and let's make sure that we get you guys taken care of. Do we have any more questions this evening? Give it a few more minutes here, guys. We may cut the live early tonight if we don't have any additional questions. We are approaching about the 20-minute mark here. Again, we usually do half hour. But if you guys don't have any more questions this evening, then we will cut it a little bit shorter, just simply because you guys don't have any more questions. So if you do have any more questions, definitely drop them. Oh, Jack, you're welcome, man. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for joining the live. And of course, thank you for requesting a quote through us. I look forward to talking with you. More than likely, I'll be the one doing the quote reviews with you once quotes come back and things like that. Jack, as far as when the next live will be, so we try to do our lives every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. If there is a scenario where we can't do one, we will try to let you guys know in advance via a post on our YouTube channel. So make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure that you do have our notifications turned on, so that way you can see when we do have those posts going out. But in most cases, it's going to be every Tuesday from 6 to 6:30. And that's Eastern time, guys. Okay, guys. So I'm going to give it about 1 or 2 more minutes to let any other additional questions roll in. And if there are no other questions, we will go ahead and end tonight's live. Again, I want to just shout out one more time, Cellera Logistics as our giveaway winner for our Garmin. Guys, if you're not familiar with the Garmin giveaway, it's what we are doing every single month now. So we will pick a random winner based on who has requested a quote during that month. You do not have to have bought a policy through us. All you have to have done is requested a quote. And it has to be within the calendar month. So take a look at the link in the description below for our giveaway, and make sure you do enter to win it, because we are going to be giving away that Garmin GPS every single month. Seller Logistics, congratulations on winning for the month of July. And guys, we do announce the winners in the beginning of each month. So for August this month, for our winner, we will announce that winner usually the first live of September. This is our first live of August. We were unable to have one last week due to some unforeseen circumstances. But yeah, if you guys haven't already, make sure you enter the giveaway. Make sure you check that out, because it's the opportunity to win a free device. And it's a solid GPS, guys. And, it's just something it's one less thing you don't have to pay for if you win it. So definitely be on the lookout for that, guys, and make sure you're entering to win. And we could be calling your name next month. All right, guys, I'm going to give it about another minute here. If you don't have any other questions, we're going to call it for the night, and we will see you next week on Tuesday. And just out of curiosity, for those of you that are still here, do you have a better day that you would prefer for the lives? Better day, better time, etc. I'm just curious. I like to get as much feedback as possible. This has seemed to be pretty good for most people. Most weeks we do have a lot of questions coming in, so it's been very beneficial for everybody, I'm sure. But if you guys have any recommendations, we are always ready to hear them. And if you also want anything via email, you can always email us. We actually all use the same inbox, so everything is kind of funneled to one, so that way we don't miss anything. So the best email for us is just office@charlesstring.com. It's Charles with an S, string with an S. So it's 2 S's, office@charlesstring.com. You can email any questions you guys have. You can also fill out a contact form on our website where you can inquire about questions if that's easier for you, whatever you may prefer. And we're just happy to help out. But guys, it looks like we don't have any more questions coming in this evening. So I am going to go ahead and call it a night. Again, congratulations to Seller Logistics on winning our Garmin for this month. And we will see you guys next week. Thank you.